We are the foundation, bulletproof the hating from the plantation. We built the whole nation. We are the foundation, bulletproof the hating from the plantation. We built the whole nation. We are the foundation, bulletproof the hating from the plantation. We built the whole nation. We are the foundation, bulletproof the hating from the plantation. We built the whole nation.
Foundational family, I'm no longer using Cash App, so send all donations on Venmo to Channel Raw TV. That's channel_Raw TV. Thank you for your support. Channel Resolve. Foundational family, here's another heated debate on Twitter Space between foundational Black Americans and African tethers, where the foundational family has to G-check these Africans who try to divide us by state and region, trying to Africanize us and tether to us so they could claim our accomplishments and creations. But the foundational family wasn't having it. We believe in soap and we believe in deodorant. That right there proves we ain't the same. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Channel Resolve.
Oh, fuck, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Hi, Gaddafi.
Which guys please start to be this? So I'm about to go to work, so I'll not be here for long, but maybe later. But this is not a nice title to have now, Abba.
All right. So,
No problem. How are you,
so
Gaddafi?
Hey, what do you say?
today,
I said, how are you?
Well, good.
today
Good day,
we
good
are.
day.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, Rex. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So guys, sorry for the abrupt beginning to this podcast this evening. So today I want to address something that I listened to a few days ago. I was listening to certain people from the African American community, and they had quite a lot to say about
They don't have that before.
Africans in general. And for some reason they made it seem like their culture and their history is better or richer than us as Africans. And it was very, very odd, because I was wondering where all of that was coming from, because a lot of African Americans really don't know their history. A lot of them claim that they know their history, but they don't. A lot of them think that they are, a lot of them tend to think that they are better than us Africans. Meanwhile, most of them don't know their ancestry. And it's a topic that I really, really want to talk about, tonight. My co-host is on her way. She'll be joining us shortly. So, it's really a topic I really wanted to address. And I don't know why African Americans in general are of the opinion that they are, quote unquote, better than Africans, or they are better than Africans in general. I don't know why they will have that kind of opinion, because a lot of times it's, here we are. Yip. Birthday girl, I'm busy post birthday girl now. Hello, mother, how are you?
Hey.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you are just waking up.
Yeah, I worked last night. I woke up, I brushed my teeth and stuff. You guys don't brush your teeth when you guys wake up. You guys just come on space to be
Please,
dropping your mouth.
I beg. Don't speak for the people that you know. Me, I brush my
No,
teeth
you
when
do
I
it.
wake
You're
up.
part of the people.
Nah, man. Speak about the ones that you know. Me, I brush my teeth when I wake up. Anyway, Umwada, you're one of the very few people who is African American and also African.
Are you okay?
Yes, now you're African American and you're also African. Or
Which
which
one be
one do you
African American? Who's African American?
you're African American now? What do you identify as?
Because of the way I sound, right?
What do you identify as?
I'm a Nigerian. I'm Igbo.
Really?
Yes. My ethnicity is Igbo. My nationality is
Really?
African. I was born in Africa.
Interesting. So why do your
I'm a
African
Nigerian
American
American.
why do your African American friends believe that for some reason their culture believe that they are better than Africans?
When you call them on the phone, ask them.
They are your friends, don't mind. Okay, let me ask you
Yeah.
this. Let me ask you this. You were born in Nigeria, so can you tell me based off of your experience firsthand the differences between us Africans and African Americans?
There's no difference. For everybody. We're the same.
Umar, that's a lie. You know that
Mm-mm.
better than anybody. That's a lie.
You know those people that used to open those spaces. You know those people. They consider themselves. They don't consider themselves African American. You know that, right?
So what do they consider themselves as?
They call themselves FBAs now. Foundational Black Americans.
Foundational Black Americans.
They don't
What
consider
does that
themselves.
even mean?
They think that their lineage come from Native Americans. Some of them think their lineage come from. They don't think that their lineage is African roots at all. Like if you
Yeah, that's
ask
about.
them where they're from, they'll tell you their family was from Texas, from New Orleans. Like they don't consider their roots African. Or they'll
So
tell you that they were Native American.
they feel like they are the same with the white man.
Mm-mm. Not really
No,
with the
no,
white
no, no.
man.
They just they're like a small, tiny group online of African Americans. That's it.
Mm. They don't consider themselves African Americans. Like if you ask them, if okay, one of them come on this space, they won't. They'll tell you they're Black Americans, not African Americans. But there are some who consider themselves African Americans because to them their family, like Dr. Umar Johnson. Do you know Dr. Umar?
Yeah, I know Dr. Umar.
Okay, he considers himself an African, even though he was not born in Africa. But because his roots and his lineage is from Africa, he calls himself an African.
So he does not call himself African American.
No, he does not call himself. He don't call himself African American. He calls himself an African, actually. But like, let's say if he maybe in a few, he probably say, "Yeah, I'm African American," because his roots is from Africa. So those people that opened that space that they called FBAs. They're a small controversial group like that.
Please, can you send the link to them or some of them, the
Okay, let
ones
me
you
send the link
the
because
ones
I
you're
want them to tell
following?
you for themselves.
Sorry.
I'll send the link to. Let me send the link to them. They'll tell you for themselves they're not African.
I really would like to pick their brain apart and really, understand.
All this is because of that guy. What's that guy that used to come on Spaces
Tariq.
Sudanese us? One of them is even a Tariq.
Yeah, yeah,
GK is here.
bro.
Give GK mic.
No, no, no. But first of all, Rex, I would say you should just change this title to FBAs. That's the real group. You feel me? Not all of them. So
You
Yeah.
be
FBAs.
antagonizing me. You being antagonizing me. This
that's
ain't
Who?
what I'm
respect
saying,
the
Rex.
pussy to fit.
He doesn't
Wait,
really
what you say?
understand. Wait, GK, he doesn't really know. You get what I'm saying? That's why he probably titled it African Americans because he didn't even know what FBAs are. You feel me?
Hold on, I'm going to add FBA to it now.
Wait, Gaddafi, are you from? Are you also FBA?
Nah, nah, to Fiakwa.
So Umu, you assume I'm FBA, right?
Yeah, okay, you're not FBA.
No, you just think I have like FBA. Like you can like go through my tweets. You can search my tweets. I don't even mention FBA, but you just assume like my whole like where I get my talking points or
No, no,
something. You
no,
think
not
they're
FBA per
FBA or whatever.
se. No, but you consider yourself a Black American, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
do you consider yourself an African American?
No, I'm not an African. No.
See what I was saying, Rex? No, what I was trying to explain to the host is that he thinks that this difference. He's saying that there's a thing with African Americans versus Africans, and I'm telling him that a lot of them, well, not a lot of them, but some of y'all don't consider yourselves African Americans. Y'all say Black Americans. African Americans consider themselves African Americans because they have African roots. You don't think you have African roots, right? You think
No,
your roots
that's
are
not
some
what
native.
that's not what I'm saying at all. Like you
Okay, so what you
trying to.
saying?
I'm not an African. I'm of African ancestry, but I'm not an African. That whole African, like y'all, like y'all don't realize, like you really just having a conversation with yourselves and a debate with yourselves. The whole African American term, y'all don't realize, and being that y'all just got here, it's fairly new. It's probably only about 40 years old. That African American term. My grandparents and my parents and them, they didn't grow up being called African Americans. That was new. That was like when they got into like high school or whatever, that became a term. My grandparents, they weren't known as African Americans.
What were
They
they
were
known
known,
as?
they were either known as Negroes or being black, or if you came from like certain territories, being that on my grandmother's side, they were in Indian tribes in Oklahoma. So
Okay,
when
so
people
do you
say so when
consider?
people say I'm Indian or whatever, that's not a lie. It's not. It may necessarily we do have like native ancestry, but it's due to white ancestry as well. That native comes from white ancestry. It's because when the pilgrims came here, they had mixed with the fucking natives, and that's how they ended up losing their land because they went to war with them and they used their offspring to turn against them. But we do have native ancestry. That's not a lie. So, but I'm not claiming to be an Indian or nothing. What's your point?
Okay. I want to ask, if you don't see yourself as African, you see yourself as American, right? You don't see yourself as African American.
Yes, we Black Americans. We're the very definition of an American. We've been here before the founding of the country. Do you know when America was founded? We've been here before it was a country. It was only the
Okay, you
13
guys have been
colonies.
there before. You've been there way
Wait,
before
what you mean you been here before
1776,
the
right?
country? Where
There
that come
was
in?
no America until we built it. It was only 13 colonies. There
Mm-hmm.
was no America. America became a thing. And
So when Christopher Columbus,
oh my
wait, hold on,
God,
because I want you to educate me too, though, because maybe I read my book wrong. So when Christopher Columbus founded
he
America,
did
right,
not
and they
found it
called it America.
America. There was no America.
No, I'm saying I know he technically didn't. The Native Americans did,
No,
right?
the
Yes,
native.
we understand that
There
part.
was no country called America.
Yeah.
America is a country. There was nothing considered America until it was built. It's a country. It's not a
So
landmass
wait,
or
are you
nothing.
saying that you came here
Yes, it was
before the?
there was
Okay,
the
so you
13
were part of the Native Americans then.
Umu. There was the 13 colonies. It was no America.
Hmm.
Then after the Civil War and the revolution, became the Revolutionary War when they threw out the British. That was the 13 colonies. They threw out the British. There was no America. Then the Civil War came. That's what led up to America becoming a country. There was no America. You thumb us down. You could literally Google when did America become a country. Y'all sound stupid. You can't tell me
Uh,
about my own
uh,
fucking history.
all right, GK. One of the things that we do not do here is throw insults at people. Um, your knowledge would be deeply appreciated if you can share it with us. You don't have to call anybody stupid or whatever. We just want to have a conversation. We want to learn, and we want to understand why there is so much difference, or there seems to be, or there's perceived to be so much difference
Wait, hold on,
between.
Rexford, hold on. Wait, hold on, GK. How am I ain't even disrespect you. I disrespected you.
Now, Mother, hold on.
You just to me.
I thought we was
GK,
having
as
a
I was
normal
saying.
conversation.
Yeah,
What's the
yeah,
No,
I
problem?
am, but I'm just saying thumbs down. It's like y'all trying to tell me, and the thing is,
No,
he's
I
saying
didn't
there's
put
a
a thumbs down
no,
though. I
no, no,
didn't
no,
do
not
that.
you, not you necessarily, not you exactly right, Umu. But he's saying, why is there so much a difference, right? But y'all understand there's differences on the continent, even within, being a Nigerian within tribes or whatever. So like, why wouldn't it be a difference with us? Like most Black Americans, we're damn near 10 to 20 generations removed. Like if you know what a generation is, that was 25 years. So every generation, that's 25 years. So
Okay, wait, hold on, GK. What I was trying to explain to him was the host was y'all consider yourselves African American. I mean, Black Americans. Y'all don't feel like y'all don't consider yourself Africans at all, right?
Yeah, I'm not an African. I'm an American.
Okay, so but you do acknowledge that your ancestors are from Africa.
Me, I speak for myself. Yes, I have African ancestry. Yes,
Okay, cool.
I have
So
other ancestors as well, European and all that. That's what makes me an American. That you know,
your ancestors is from Europe.
yes, Black Americans have European ancestry. Yes.
Okay, that's cool. That's yeah. Um, so that's what we're trying to figure out, right? So basically, there's a difference between African Americans and people that call themselves Black Americans. So what's the
Um,
difference between foundational Americans?
but found the FBA, that the
Mm-hmm.
new FBA. I don't think it's a term. It's just, I mean, I don't think there's a difference. We're just using that solely due because the African American term is so much nuance and broad that it's really been co-opted. So I don't know if you know, but you are African yourself. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure like it's Africans. I have seen it, but it's Africans in America that call themselves African Americans. It's also Caribbeans. So the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, right, with them doing that, they're also lumped in our demographic. So when you talk about statistics and things that was meant to be for us or whatever, y'all skew all that pretty much. So that's really it's about our own autonomy. So everything our ancestors did here, the foundations and things they fought for and laid down here, that has nothing to do with you. Just because you could come from another country and research my identity and just get our scholarships and all this, no, you shouldn't be able to do that.
So you're saying that Africans can't come into America and be able to get rewarded like the way we are,
I'm
like
saying anything that has to do with Black Americans, our own autonomy here in this country
mm-hmm.
for centuries, you should not be able to come from any country and be able to attach yourself to a group of people and LARP as if you're them and be able to move within their organizations and take resources and stuff. You should not be able to do that. And y'all know
So
y'all
what?
shouldn't be able to because you wouldn't go, you were not allowed to go into any other African country and do that. You know that. So why are you acting
Wait,
like,
hold
don't
on.
act
Let
slow
me
or stupid? Like,
wait, hold on. GK, you don't gotta be disrespectful. We having a conversation. See, that's the thing. Every time we try to have a conversation, you always trying to go in attack mode.
no, because I'm not trying to attack, but I just feel like you just like some of y'all just intentionally just gaslight and then like
No,
just
we're
trying
not
to
trying.
play.
I'm really trying to. Have I ever sat and had a conversation with you about
Not
this
not
before?
true, not true necessarily, but I'm just saying it's some like y'all intentionally just gaslighting and y'all and like some of them get what we saying. Like y'all know there's differences in the places y'all come from, and
Yeah,
y'all
we
not
have
just
tribes. We have
yeah,
tribes,
and,
definitely.
and there's
Yeah.
differences within them tribes and there's conflicts as well. And y'all know even when you talk about politics in Nigeria, some tribes can't even get into the fucking politics because of a fucking hierarchy or whatever, because the northern tribes or whatever are at the
Hmm.
top or whatever. So like, come on, y'all know this shit.
Yeah, but what we're discussing, right, is you said that we're trying to get the resources because I'm the only
I'm not
American.
necessarily saying I'm not even I don't even want to just go ahead. Let me be quiet.
Okay. I'm the only American. I'm the only Nigerian American on the speaker section, right? So I'm trying to understand when you say resources, what exactly are you talking about? Like when you say we're trying to come into you guys' space and take your resources. Because if we're walking down the street, right, and neither of us open our mouth to talk, they're gonna see us as black people. They're not gonna say, "Oh, this one is Nigerian, this one is a black American." Like they're gonna just consider two black people. So what resources are you saying that we're trying to take from you guys? Like what
Oh, okay,
resources are
to take it away from Africans because I don't really want to make this a African thing. Like this is
mm-hmm.
it's got a whole lot. It's bigger than just Africans or whatever y'all seen,
No,
but.
I'm only speaking because I'm the only Nigerian American on the
Right, right,
speaker
right.
section.
So
Right.
to take it away from Africans, like the prime example, right? And I'm pretty sure y'all know this or whatever, but it's a so the Congressional Black Caucus, right? Even though we weren't, it wasn't necessarily us specifically. It was a Caribbean that advocated for it and pushed for it, being that she came over here during the height of the civil rights and
Mm-hmm.
got involved in our politics and all, right? So Shirley Chisholm, that was the woman that advocated for it. She was a Guyanese woman, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
Congressional Black Caucus, right? Being that the whole black thing is so fucking broad, right? a person like Stacy Pulaski, that's from the Virgin Islands, although it is a U.S. territory, they made it
Mm-hmm.
specifically. And Caribbeans do this, and there's other examples. Caribbean, so she's from the Virgin Islands, along with other Caribbeans. They made it specifically for her group from the Virgin Islands that she wanted resources specifically allocated to them, and she wanted a college, a university in the Virgin Islands to be considered a HBCU, a historically black college, or whatever. But that has nothing to do with Black Americans with the HBCUs that we founded and built it here.
Okay.
So that right there that's a conflict of interest when you want to use and research off a people's plight and use their fight to just allocate stuff for your own. So yeah, it's just a leechy parasitic behavior.
Okay. No problem. Rexwood, you have any questions?
Even the whole Juneteenth thing, like me personally, like I really don't speak on Juneteenth because for the
Do
most part,
you,
I don't know. I gotta.
GK?
I
Yeah,
mean,
finish. I want to
I
ask
don't
him a
the
question.
Juneteenth thing. I haven't seen any Nigerians celebrate Juneteenth.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with celebrating it. And there have been Nigerians that have gotten scholarships and stuff off of it. But then
Mhm.
they'll talk crazy, like it just be some crazy comments. So as I see it, like you just disrespectful. So no, you shouldn't be amongst us, and you shouldn't be able to get anything that has anything to do with just Black Americans. Specifically of our ancestry and the foundation of America. No, you shouldn't be able to do that.
But
That's a
you don't think that so your ancestors, right, who are
oh,
from
my
Africa, because you say your ancestors is from Africa, right? Ain't that our
God.
ancestors too, though? Because they came
Um,
from out Africa. They came from.
Umu. What is your tribe or whatever?
I'm Igbo.
Okay, so are you the same as a Yoruba? Are you the same as a Fulani, a Hausa, a Kanuri, a Ijaw, a Ewe, a Isakiri? Are y'all the same?
No, we have the we're all
Okay then. So
Nigerians.
why do you feel the need to impose that on me? But you understand that you ain't the same in Nigeria. Like this is what I'm talking about. This
Wait, what
kind
do
of
you? Hold on, no, we're not. Hold on. What I'm saying is that slaves came from everywhere in Africa, even in Ghana, Senegal,
I'm not
Nigeria.
I'm not denying that, but let's
Okay,
be
so
very
my whole thing is if they came from Nigeria, right? Let's use Nigeria. They came from Nigeria. They enslaved them here in the US and they helped build Nigeria, right? I mean, helped build the US, right? So you're saying that we can't benefit from that at all, even though they originally came from Africa.
So I ask you, right, what does Black Americans benefit from? Let's say Nigeria as a whole. What benefit does it help Black Americans that y'all benefit off of us? Although like it's a lot of nuances when you talk about Africans that came here, because to be honest, when you being a Nigerian, these DNA tests, it's a lot of lies in them. A lot of that
Mm-hmm.
shit ain't true. That Nigerian, a lot of our ancestors that Black Americans, they come from the Senegambian region. To be honest, in the Congo,
Mm-hmm.
not Nigeria.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't need a DNA test though.
Yeah, I
But
don't
like,
either. I ain't taking that. I ain't taking that bullshit anyway. I don't care for it. But go ahead.
mhm. Yeah, so what you're saying is that we're trying to come over here and take resources that we're
I'm not
supposed
saying
to.
y'all that's what y'all trying to do. I'm just saying that's what you're doing. I'm not saying y'all intentionally doing that, but a lot of it has to do with us as well. I put blame on Black Americans. That has to do with us as well, because the whole Pan African indoctrination and mindset that previous generations pushed and aligned with.
Okay. Um,
So
Rexford,
don't
do you
so
have
don't
any?
think I'm putting the blame on y'all. Nah, I put more of the blame on us as a
But
ethnic.
even if you put the blame on y'all, it's still a divisive. You like it's still I feel like you're using divisive terms.
How? What you mean?
Like you're trying to yes, we're different from y'all because we are originally from Africa, right? And
No. I said I put the blame. When I say I put the blame on, I'm talking about specifically my ethnic group, my people, the whatever 40, 50 million, whatever, how many it is. I'm talking about
mm-hmm,
us specifically. I'm talking about previous generations from my grandparents to the civil
mm-hmm.
rights. I'm talking about them. That doesn't even involve Africans or Caribbeans at all. Like no
Oh,
immigrants.
okay.
I'm making it specifically about us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Rexford,
All right.
they're here now.
GK, I've listened to everything you've said. So, this is actually quite interesting. Do you feel like foundational Black Americans, do you feel like they operate in a different level compared to, Africans? Do you feel like you guys are probably, better than Africans? And do you feel like you guys have a better overall culture compared to
Um,
Africans?
that whole little culture thing, I don't even want to get in that because I don't even bring up that like that whole culture shit. I see some Black Americans. I'm gonna be real, and I'm gonna say it. The Black Americans of my ethnic group that I see do engage in them like low vibrational conversations about culture. I'm gonna be real. Like my mind don't even register or think like that because growing up and just Black American all my life. I'm 25 or whatever. Like I've never heard the word culture even come out my fucking grandparents' mouth or anyone I was raised around. Like that's not a Black American thing. This whole culture shit, whatever you see motherfuckers talk about, that's more of a social media low level thing that I'm not about to have it with third worlders about culture and all. No, bro. Like my people did way more bigger things that really had to do with like creating societies and stuff to inventions and stuff. I ain't about to debate about no culture, bro. I got engineers and degrees and OGBYNs and stuff in my family. I ain't about to debate about no culture. Like just regular stuff we do every day. That's just normal. I ain't about to compare and compete with Africans or Caribbeans about. And even though like I know like the history of like some of the culture of the Caribbeans, like a lot of their culture that people think is just so African and they retain, a lot of it don't have nothing to do with Africa. When you talk about Jamaicans and dreads and shit, like a lot of that come from Indians, the people they was around. Like dreads is not an African thing or Black thing. That's Indian culture. The whole Rastafari thing that has to do with praising a Ethiopian Arab Selassie. The word Rastafari was his name. So I know a lot about these people's so-called culture and why it's so upheld and all this. But go ahead. It's not about culture with me. Like I'm not about
So
to do that.
so okay, you're saying it's not about culture, but what I want to
No.
ask you now is this.
I,
What
I
what
think
would you
our morals and standards of living play a part. Like just that has a big major difference. Like how y'all have I don't know where you from, whatever, but like just Nigeria, whatever. Like when you talk about like Ifa or like in Benin or voodoo and stuff like that's not a Black American. We don't take into them weirdo ideology practices. But now that I look at it, I'm like a lot of these things, these movements and cult religions and stuff, this has plagued my community, which was never a thing. Like these religions and even Pan-Africanism, that ideology. Like I look at that like as a cult like religion that has like dumbed down my people and indoctrinated them and put us in this position of today, to where you feel the need that we got to go out and prove to Africans and Caribbeans about how much culture we got. Like I don't give a fuck about Africans and Caribbeans. Like I got to prove and validate myself to y'all. Bro. I'm gonna be real. It's like I got irrelevant to
all
me.
right,
I didn't
all
grow up
right.
around.
I'm not asking you to prove or validate
No,
anything.
not you. I'm just saying what you see from like some of
Yeah,
my ethnic group folk
yeah.
that feel the need to go out and do that. And I tell you to be honest, I kind of be getting embarrassed. It's like when you say like when you ask the question like do you think like do Black Americans me personally, yeah, I do feel like yeah, I'm better than you. Like I always carry myself in that regard. Like I gravitate off what my
Hmm.
ancestors did, and
Hmm.
my folks the shit. I don't care what nobody say. My people the best people on the planet. I don't give a fuck about Egypt, the pyramids, or none of that shit. My people the shit, regardless.
All right, that's fair enough. So what you said that a lot of what you guys have over there is more of morals, is more of standards, right? So what would
No,
you
no,
say?
no, no. I'm saying some of the practices or whatever is different from y'all.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
yeah.
What I'm asking is, based on the Black American community, what would you say are your morals? What would you say are your standards?
Well, where for one, like when I was talking about the little whole like these, I'm gonna be real. Like I've seen a lot, like how y'all may use religion, and even when you talk about Black Americans, it has like taken due to the civil rights, the Congressional Black Caucus, your L Sharptons and stuff. They did put like money before our religion and community, but it wasn't always like that at a point in time. It was a point in time where we were very righteous and religious orientated, but when we allowed the government to get within the within like our religion and churches and stuff that we built up for ourselves, that's when like money just took over and like we lost like we lost our ways and some things to the point now today like some people don't even feel the need to go to the churches. The churches are deteriorating, so they going under because like it was really the elderly that had money that was keeping them running and stuff, and now like the youth people like my age and younger don't even want to go. But yeah, I think when you talk about morals and just upbringings, whatever, I don't know. Like I can't really speak to, but I do think like for Black Americans, whatever, we do have more of a I don't know of a understanding of like just the society and the world, not the world, but the society when we make it about America specifically, about like what we're really going up against and how we view like other groups of people versus Africans or whatever. They don't view them as the same, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I say like we're different. Our experiences and history is different. So I don't expect and try to impose on Africans. I don't call Africans and Caribbeans black. That's never been a thing. I never really saw y'all as black, but it is what it is. I don't try to tell y'all, hey, you got to think how we think, and y'all got to hate white people, and y'all got to see them as the same. No, it's just we have a different understanding of history and an experience of actual things that we went through with white people here. So that's different. So like the white Jesus worship and stuff that y'all have, when you feel you need to change your last name and make it Europeans, that's some of the things I'm talking about. Like you will never, I just don't think we uphold and praise like other groups of people the way you do
Yo,
that.
GK, why did you expose Mickey? That's fucked up.
Bro, that's not what this about. Like calm down.
That's just fucked up. I'm just saying.
Making my baby, calm down. That's not what this about.
Yeah, sorry guys, I had to do something. I'm Diaspora, and you've had your hand up for a while. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, I had a quick question for you, GK. Because I heard you also while you were talking, state your age. You said you're 25. Um, Last I checked, as far as I know, you were no slave. Pretty sure your parents were also not slaves based on the age. Let me
When did
finish.
you
Let
hear
me finish.
when did you hear me mention slaves though?
Let
When
me
did you hear me
finish.
mention
Let
slaves?
me finish. Let me finish. Thank you. So let me finish so you can get where I'm coming from. And I'm still asking you a question. So I'm not even making any assumptions. I am trying to ask you a question, but I'm just trying to lay the groundwork before I do. Again, like I said, based on your age, I don't think you're a slave. I don't think your parents were slaves. Pretty sure you're far removed from, you know, generations that were slaves based on your age. So you did say you don't believe, you know, the reparations Black Americans get. You don't think African Americans should partake in that because obviously we're not you guys, which that's a fair point. But you do realize that.
I didn't mention nothing about fucking reparations. This is what I be talking about.
So when you mention Juneteenth
I didn't
scholarship,
mention anything about fucking reparations.
so when you mention Juneteenth scholarships, what is that?
That has nothing to do with fucking reparations.
Okay, forget the word reparations. You don't want it
Oh,
to
why
get
the
any
fuck are you
benefits,
mentioning it? This be the
bro.
goofy
Don't
shit I be
piss me
talking
off,
about.
bro. I'm trying to ask you a question. Don't
Dude,
piss me off.
you do not know me. I'm from Cincinnati. I don't give a fuck about Africans. You didn't grow up around me. You're not my friends. I don't engage with you. Like, bro, like
So
you
why are
don't
you
want
on
that.
this
I'm from
space
the
then?
Midwest. I'm not from the Northeast, New
So
York, or
why
nothing
are
like
you on
that.
this
Like
space then if you
we
don't
get
want to engage?
because Umu sent it to me. I mean, you could go back to speaker, but I didn't fucking mention reparations. I mean, listeners,
I
whatever.
came
Like I
here to
didn't
ask
mention
you a
reparations.
question, and I said
Okay, so don't
forget
mention
the
fucking
reparations,
reparations.
and I said forget that, bro. You're not that dumb, bro. I said forget that. Stop being stupid with me, bro.
Don't
I'm being
fucking mention
serious.
reparations.
And I
Comprehend,
said
then,
forget
bitch.
that, bro. Are you dumb? I said
Learn to
forget that. Stop
comprehend,
being
then.
stupid, bro.
Listen. You
I'm
didn't
trying
hear
to
me
have a
say fucking
conversation with you.
reparations.
Stop being
Goofy.
stupid, bro. I'm being serious. Stop being stupid. I said forget that then. Like, bro, I'm not even trying to die on that fucking hill. I said forget that. Like, fucking move on, bro. You're not 5. Jesus fucking Christ. Like I said, bro, forget the fucking shit, bro. You said Juneteenth scholarships, some Africans or Nigerians were getting that, and you weren't cool with that. So I'm trying to address that. So fuck the fucking reparations. Like, is a fucking word, bro. Fuck that. All right, let's move past that. Let's talk about the actual premise of your statement. You don't want Africans to benefit from shit like scholarships that are supposed to be for Black Americans. So I'm trying to address that point. Can we speak on that? Stop being stupid, bro.
Well, go ahead.
Exactly. So, like I was saying, if you're saying that, my point is, I think Umu tried to let you see that at the end of the day, when it comes to marginalization, I don't think it's solely a black American thing, right? Because especially when it comes to the workplace and things like that, right? If I put my name, I know a lot of black Americans will complain like, hey, you know, when they apply for jobs and stuff, we don't get jobs, um, and stuff like that, right? That's why we had the old diversity rule and all that stuff. I feel like Africans also deal with that issue. So don't you think if they're putting rules and things in place to assist Black Americans, don't you think Africans should benefit from that since we get the same vitriol you believe you get? That was my main point.
Okay, so you make this about marginalization, right? The whole under the American structure, just global structure of
Yeah,
whiteness, right?
right.
Okay, the thing is, right? This is the difference, right? And I ain't trying to be like condescending or anything, right? But at the end of the day, Africans or Caribbeans, whatever, just any group that came here to America, you willingly came. So just because you happen to be marginalized in America, for the most part, you knew what you was getting into before you came, regardless.
Now, some people were born here.
Okay, and some people could be born here, but again, their parents willingly came here.
Yeah, but it's not about the parents, it's about them.
Okay, and it's for them, the parents, to put their children, their future generations in the best position possible. Again, their parents knew what they were doing before they came here. They wanted access to the first world living standards, a better life, and that's what they did. So they made the decisions for their children that they're in today. And that's the same for when you talk about Black Americans, the position we're in today. Though the same generations that I talked about, the previous generations that came before us, the civil rights and the baby boomers or whatever, they put us in this position today. When you talk about slavery or whatever, I don't think you know, but when you talk about my grandparents that were born in the 1930s and 40s and 20s and stuff, their parents came directly out of slavery. Slavery ended in 1865. And then once they came out of slavery and built shit, towns and shit, all that shit got destroyed by their own government. You've never been, I don't know what you are, but you've never been bombed by your own government as well, fighting their wars. And you rebuild multiple towns and they destroy your shit over and over again constantly. That's never happened to you, whole towns
Right.
and
So
wealthy communities.
so
That's
when
never
white
happened to you.
so when white folks try to say in today's day and age, this isn't 1960, this is 2024. When white folks say black people
Dude,
can
the
go to,
1960s was
wait,
only
let me
60 years ago.
no, I know. I'm just trying to make like I'm not this. There's no data to back what I'm about to say. I'm just trying to like explain something, right? So like when white folks say shit like, "Oh, this is 2024. Racism is not real anymore." Like black folks can go to school. Black folks can get a good job. You see how that sounds, right? Because you do, and black white folks say that a lot. Like, no, white black people have a choice. You could choose to go to school, but you don't. But obviously, they don't realize like the environment you grew up in. Maybe you grew up in an environment where your parents were going in and out of jail, so obviously school wasn't really an option for you. They don't take that into consideration. I feel like that's what you're doing here when you say, "Well, your parents made that choice." Yeah, fine, but like I was still born here. Like it's not like I'm gonna my parents leave here and then my parents made decisions, and because they made some decisions, that means whatever happens to me is not, it doesn't matter. Like that's how I feel you sound for real. Like I feel like
What?
like what I'm saying is basically when white folks say black like in 2024 black kids have choices, that's not
Yes,
an
yes,
accurate
we
statement is my
definitely do.
point.
You,
Yeah, but
you,
that's still not
listen,
accurate
right?
though.
Even the civil rights and the baby boom, the previous generations that laid the foundation up today to put us in the position we're in, they had choices too. They had a choice not to get involved and allow fucking
Exactly.
Jewish people to fund their movements and shit. The civil rights
Right,
that wasn't
exactly.
black funded. They allowed Jewish people to come in, take our fucking music. We handed that shit over. We gave them that industry. We didn't tell them. We allowed them to put urban leagues and NAACP and fund all this shit. The
But should that
NAACP does
choice be
nothing
used
for us.
against
So
you
so
as
that
as
was
a
our
child
choice
or
that we
descendant?
felt, and that's what I'm talking about. That's when I say I hold previous generations of my people accountable. So they choices that they made in the past, that's put us in the position of today that you see us at. So go ahead.
No, no, that
There's repercussions for every action you take in life. So
Okay,
if your
okay.
parents felt, hey, they wanted that you was born in America and they felt the need to have you here in an American hospital
Okay,
and get
okay,
American
okay,
citizenship,
okay,
they made the choice to do that,
okay.
and the actions they
Just to
took is a
pause.
repercussion and a
GK, hold on. GK, hold on. Just to come in here, please. Somebody told me about FBAs. I didn't know anything about FBAs until tonight. FBAs were not part of the topic. So please, if you know any foundational Black American, please you could tag them in the comments, or probably send them the link as well. You could also retweet the link as well so that they can join. This conversation has really taken a very interesting turn, and well, we will be here for it. Okay,
Yeah, I do have
let's
one more
move
question,
forward.
right? For if
Hold
you
on,
don't
guys.
mind.
Hold on, guys. Chantel, go ahead. So please, if you want to speak, you can put your hand up or request the mic.
Yeah, I was done
Chantel,
with my
go ahead.
question. If you don't mind, my right sword. I have one more
Okay,
question. If you don't
finish
mind.
your question so that Chantel can speak. She's had her hand up for a while.
All right, thank you, thank you. Really quickly, so like GQ, right? My second question is, you know how slaves are also taken away from African countries, right? Do you believe um, that actually affected African countries and their economy and socialization as well in those countries? And do you believe um, America as a country also, or white folks, if you want to put it that way, have to kind of, I don't want to use reparations because you died your panties in a bunch last time I said that, but I don't really have any other words for that. But basically, compensate African countries, or at least African descendants, for that as well, because like Africa was affected. Does that make sense?
I understand that, but again, this speaks to the conversation we was just having. There's repercussions for the actions that put you in today. So I'm sorry, your continent willingly welcomed them people and put you in that position today. It may not have been the majority, but your past generations, your elders or whatever, made the decisions that affected you and put you in this position today. But yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not against it. Yeah, go advocate, speak against colonization and then things that happen to you. Yeah, but I can't sit up here and say that y'all weren't accomplices within your own demise as well. Is what I'll say.
All right. Since you've answered the question, Chantel, please go on. Chantel, are you there? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Can anybody hear her?
No, I can't hear.
Chantel, I can't hear you. Maybe you drop and come back. While she's doing that, Sasha, please go on.
Okay. So yeah, I just feel like some people are delusional. Like some Black Americans, not all. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. Okay, Sasha, please hold on. Chantel, say what
Okay.
you want to say so that
I
you
just
get
have
to question.
I just have one question, and I'm not even trying to say like be a type of way. I'm just genuinely confused. Okay, JK, do you think you're just a dark skinned American instead of being labeled as an African American? You just think you're an American that is dark skinned, right? Just to like understand where you're coming from.
First off, okay, right. So when you hear the black, I know you think I'm talking about a skin complexion. When I say black, I'm not talking about a skin complexion. That's another thing. The word black doesn't register me skin complexion. I understand there's Indians that have the same skin complexion as me or whatever, and they may not be of African descent or consider themselves Africans or whatever. So I'm well aware that black doesn't say, hey, I'm saying I'm a dark skin complexion person in America. That's not what I'm saying when I say I'm a black American. When I think of black here in America, I think of a level of consciousness and a movement and I don't know, like a level of consciousness that my people gravitated and made strides off of. That's really my whole
Right.
concept of
So
it.
this leads me to ask, right? Where are you from? Like genuinely,
Uh,
I want to know.
I'm, ma'am, I'm from America. I'm genuinely from America.
Do you mind me? Yep. Okay, fine, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Top.
All right. That's interesting. Sasha, go on, please.
Okay. I just wanted to say, I just feel like a lot of people are being they're not being genuine. Um, yeah, a lot of people are just not being genuine. For example, a lot of Black Americans, they say stuff like, "Oh, okay, I feel like I'm the perfect person to talk about subject like this because like I grew up in America while being Nigerian, so like I feel like it's good. Like a lot of African Americans, not all, but like they'll say stuff like, "Oh, I don't look African," or like they say stuff like, "Oh, you look African as an insult." So like I don't know. I feel like because like like what caused all this diaspora wars is because this guy literally said, "Oh, like Africans don't look like Black Americans." Like in their mind, I feel like they think looking African is like dark skin, big nose, big lips. I don't just
For some of us, I will admit, yes, because
yeah,
some of us don't really understand the nuances of the continent of Africa.
yeah,
So
like
yeah, I will admit that.
yeah, that's very true. Like a lot of people, like I remember I told this girl, I was like, "Oh, are you African?" She asked me, she's like, "Oh, do I look African?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like what? Like I don't. I mean, like I'm just like when like you. She looks East African. Like I thought she would be like Habisha or something. Like I don't know what it is, but it's kind of weird. But
No,
like
no, it's not weird at all. So you saying this was a Black American girl or whatever that said you look
yeah, so like
African?
yeah, I
Oh,
told her I
okay.
was like yeah, I asked her, I was like, "Oh, what African country are you from?" I was like, "Are you African?" And she was like, I look African." I was like, "Yeah, what the fuck?" Like I think she thought I was trying to diss her, but like that's not like it's a I don't know.
Yeah. That again goes into like how some of us, yeah, we do perceive like Africa or whatever, like but then again, like me personally, like I didn't go to school with Africans until like high school, but I'm gonna be real. Just phenotypically, like I don't. There are some outliers. Yeah, it's some of us that may resemble Africans or whatever, but I don't think we know there's a we can tell when you're an African and when you're pretty if you don't blend in pretty well, we can tell. I don't know. It's a lot of things that go into it. Maybe your aesthetic, the way you carry yourself, mannerisms. A lot of that plays a part.
No, you're right because like not a lot of people are like for example, like Nigeria, there's a lot of Igbo people that are like light skinned and like, they look you would think they're like Caribbean. They look African to me, like but they just light skinned. But like a lot of people will see that and be like, "Oh, they don't look African. They look," you know what I'm saying? Like I've heard that so many times. Like I just don't know. I feel like they think Africans all look like South Sudanese people, just dark and just have big noses.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, good.
like Jonathan Majors. Like I remember when like everybody like people were saying, "Oh, the reason why you guys don't like Jonathan Majors is because he has African features." I'm like, "What's African about his features?" Like they
Who
were like,
said that? They said as Africans y'all don't like Jonathan Majors, or is this a Black
"No,
American that said that?
no, they said that Jonathan Major, he looks African. He has African features. Like they're like the reason
Uh,
why people don't find him attractive is because something he has.
I mean, he got with my first crush, Gabrielle Union. So I don't know what the hell they talking about. I mean,
Yeah,
Gabrielle Union. What's her name? That's my baby. That's my
yeah, but
first
like
crush.
what I'm saying is that like he doesn't look Afrocentric. Like people like their mindset on what like Africans supposed to look like is kind of like I don't know. People were like, "Oh, that's African features." I'm like, "What? That's not like, bro. Like, if you were to go to Nigeria, not people don't be look. They don't look like that. Like, I don't know. I
So
mean,
so you saying they don't look like Jonathan Majors or just his
I
features?
mean, what I'm trying to say is that people were saying, "Oh, like Jonathan Majors has African features, like Afrocentric features." Like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
weird.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that because like that whole African features. Like I said, like it's a lot of I don't really know the people you referring to, but I said it's a lot of nuance the thing is, right, when you talk about the continent of Africa, right, the modern day exception of it, this is a revamp compared to like we've had scholars like when you talk about not W.E.B. Du, but Booker T and Frederick Douglass, they really understood and knew like and Martin Delany, they understood. These were like your real first Pan-African scholars. They understood the nuances of the continent of Africa and how Africans were different, the tribes, the different diets and foods you ate, to the hair textures and all that. But today, the modern Pan-Africanism is become a revamp, and those practices weren't taught from the modern the first establishers, the forefathers of Pan-Africanism that understood them nuances. So today it's just we're all Africans, the scattered brain shit, skin complexion, we all black. But then again, when you say we're all black and it's about skin complexion, you don't realize you're bringing other people that may not even be of African descent within that fold as well. So you're bringing Indians, Australian Aborigines, Malaysians, all kinds of shit. Like you're doing that whole black skin complexion thing. That's really more of a psyop and a mind fuck of a hodgepodge of confusion.
I'm not even going to lie now. I'm more confused than I was confused at the beginning.
Rexford, what I said, did you get what I was saying, bro?
Yeah, I have an idea of what you're saying. Um, One of the reasons why I actually decided to have this topic was because of the quote unquote differences, whether real or perceived, that are said to exist between Black Americans and Africans. All right, and I believe that there is actually more things that we have in common than they are that actually separate us. First of all, a lot of us share ancestry, and it's very funny that one of the reasons why I decided to have this space was because I was in a previous space, and somebody there was saying that Africans are trying to steal African American culture, that we don't have any culture in Africa, that we are very backward on the continent of Africa, and everything we learn from them. And that made me pause and wonder, how exactly does the mind of the average Black American work? You know, what exactly do they see? What are the things or what are the notions that they have that will make them come to, these types of conclusions? And
Okay, so you want me to speak to that?
okay, yeah, sure, go ahead.
So me personally, and again, I don't get into these cultural conversations or whatever. Like that's some low level thinking. I don't talk about I don't even use the word culture. Like the word culture. If any Black American using the word culture, I feel like it should be banned. Like coming with the out of our mouths, because I know damn well we weren't raised like that with the word culture coming out of our mouths. There's some new shit. But when you talk about Africans and I guess partaking in, no, I don't think you're stealing that out. I do feel like you do take from it like influence or whatever, but that's across the board. That's just we got influence on the globe. So that's everywhere. France, Asia, Europe, that's everywhere. Latin America, the Caribbean, we got influence on everybody to the music, our style, our clothes, whatever. Certain words we use, our mannerisms. I see it. But I don't think you're stealing. I think the issue is when you choose to deny, you rather not acknowledge and give the respect that, hey, yeah, we do have influence on your thing, and just like, and then you try to like, hey, take from our shit and then say like everything we do comes from Africans. No, don't try to Africanize every aspect of
Okay,
the
okay.
foundation and the things.
What exactly is it that you people do that you think that we take from you?
I'm not saying you're necessarily take. I'm just saying you don't acknowledge the influence. You'd rather be a hater than not acknowledge. And some
Okay,
do acknowledge, but
what is the influence that the Black American culture
oh,
has
okay,
or
so
had?
so our music or whatever, hip hop to the funk or jazz or whatever, like
Mhm.
um Fela Kuti, he acknowledged like he took influence from that played a part within Afro beats. Even some of the fashion or whatever, like Burna Boy's rock certain things in his music videos and stuff. That's just considered that what Black Americans did within our hip hop or whatever. Caribbeans too. They will never acknowledge that. Like for some odd reason, people think now that this whole debacle with the hip hop, they saying that hip hop came from Jamaica, and that's just not true. But since we allowed a Jamaican, whatever the fuck his name is, I can't even think of his name. I don't care for him, but he came
Bob
amongst
Marley.
Black Americans. No, I don't give a damn about Bob Marley. Bob Marley acknowledged the influence we had on the Jamaican ska and reggae culture. He acknowledged that. But even he was doing covers, copying like some of our first soul R&B artists or whatever. He acknowledged that the Whalers or whatever. I'm pretty sure that's where he came from. But when you to take it back to Africa, like dude, I know about the tribesmen and all that. The tribesmen, I know about that group in Lagos or whatever. They were doing hip hop, bro. You know about the tribesmen in Nigeria? Rexford.
You would have to explain to me which
No,
tribesmen are you
no,
talking
no,
about?
no, no. This is not a tribe. This was a hip hop group out of Lagos, Nigeria, called the Tribesmen. These were college,
There was
university people, and they were like
sorry.
a Nigerian hip hop group. They were like
What
some of the
year?
first that laid the
What
foundation out.
year? What year
They
were
came
they
out during like
popular?
the 2000s or like the 90s, but you wouldn't
They
know
were
about them. I
called the
don't think.
tribesmen.
Yes, T. You can look it
Okay,
up.
okay,
TRYBESMEN.
okay. Please, guys that are are very familiar with Nigerian music, is there
Okay.
any group? Did we ever have any group called the tribesmen? Maybe you guys will help me. I don't know, Sha.
I've
Um,
never heard of that, but I'm not saying it's wrong though. But I've never heard of that
I'm not. I'm
personally.
not saying
But
it's
y'all may
wrong.
be a little too
I
young,
can't
so
just remember. Maybe somebody here can help
Yeah,
me.
Tribesmen, they were a group in Nigeria around that Two-Face. I think one of Two-Face brother was part of Tribesmen. Don't quote me on that,
You
but
mean you
Tribesmen were
mean
definitely a group.
so like I've studied on all this shit. So don't just think I'm just blurting out shit. Like I know.
Are you talking about plantation boys?
Oh,
No,
they're called tribesmen.
bro, you are just Google away from getting the answer. Tribesmen were a group back in the days, honestly.
Okay, okay. I would do my research on that. So
And I think it's TRYBE, then men, I believe.
I would do my research on that. So GK, I also want to ask. You said that there are things that we have, that there are things that the Black American culture has, influenced. You guys have had some level of influence on the African culture. Now, do you also believe that there are certain things that the African culture has influenced about your? Do you believe that there are certain influences that the African culture has, over the Black American culture there in the US?
Okay, this is what I would say. So when you say African, that's a little broad because, like I said, like for me and Timothy up here, right? We're well studied and well versed in studying on like where majority of our people came from, our ancestry, and like where when you talk about our musical heritage and stuff, where these influences came from. So when you talk about the Delta blues or and all that, like these things come from like they have like Malian influences or whatever. So like when you see Black Americans or whatever that do these ancestry tests, like when they look for their haplogroups, one thing you will notice is a lot of them say, well, 60% or the overall majority of Black American men, they have a chromosome of the Mandinka. So we're well aware of like where these influences come from. When you say it's African and throw this broad stamp on it, and then try to Africanize every single thing about our culture. No, be specific. So don't Africanize it. You understand wherever you come from in Africa that your culture is different from that other tribe or different people in that country and region. You all understand you're not the same. So don't Africanize us every aspect of Black American culture, whatever, and contribute it out of Africa. Like no,
Well, can I ask a question?
you're good.
Before you go, can I just like ask you one more thing? I just want to confirm, right? Okay, so I was very confused as to where you were coming from. Then I was speaking to my friend, and my friend thinks this is where you're coming from. So I'm just going to ask to confirm. that I am not being like, I'm not wrong, right? So what you mean by, okay, you're Black American, do you mean like this is what she thinks you mean? And if you do, like, if that's what you mean, I would understand it. Do you feel like this because, okay, your ancestors were genuinely taken as slaves, and like in all of this, the bloodline got like, do I say misplaced or confused, or like you just lost
Ma'am,
wherever it
Wait,
is.
hold on.
ma'am,
JK,
I told you.
Can I
let me,
can I finish? I'm just trying to like confirm if this is actually what you mean. So like in the process it got lost, and you being from like this generation, you obviously don't know what happened God knows how
Ma'am,
many years ago.
I
So
know
like,
what happened. I'm not confused about anything. The bottom line is, I am an American. My people been here before the foundation of the country. They literally helped build the country to what it is today. Every aspect of modern day society, this Western civilization, Black Americans have had a hand in it. Every aspect of it. I don't know what you mean.
okay, so what you mean is you're American because your ancestors helped to build America, right?
Yes,
ma'am, did
we
you
were
just?
here before. Yes,
Yeah, let me ask a
Oh,
we're,
okay,
question.
we're,
that
we're
was
literally
what I was
founding
trying to.
fathers
That
of the
was what.
country of America. We have founding fathers.
Yeah, let me.
Okay, that was what I was trying to explain. Abi, understand? I
So,
get it
so
now.
you said your question was why do we say that we're Black Americans, or what do we mean by that? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, but then I feel like his explanation now. I understand
No.
it
So
more.
we're an ethnicity. We're an ethnic group. The same way in Nigeria.
I
Right,
get
right.
that.
So this the
I
same
get
way
that.
in Nigeria, you have the Hausa and the Kanuri, and the
I
yeah, yeah.
get that
We're
now.
an ethnic group. That's all.
Oh, no problem. I understand that now. Thank you.
So, Timothy, you're saying that Black Americans are an ethnic group. Is that it?
Of course, you don't know that.
Okay. So that means a Black American from Massachusetts, a Black American
Yes,
from
they're the
Illinois,
same. They're the
a
same.
Black
Hold on, hold
American
on.
from Texas. I don't know. Texas is a redneck state. I don't know how many Black Americans are from there. A Black American from Baltimore. You all identify as one ethnic group.
Correct. We're an ethnicity. I don't. You brought up states or whatever.
Mhm,
It's like a Yoruba from Osun State or Ogun State
mhm,
or Lagos State.
mhm,
Not a different
mhm.
ethnic group.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's not different. I have grandparents that are from probably 6 or 7 different states. So states doesn't matter. We're one ethnicity.
Fair enough.
Interesting. Interesting. So,
Okay, I feel like this explanation makes more sense now, and I genuinely understand where they're coming from
I
because
don't think I think some of y'all already know this, but y'all just intentionally the gaslight.
I didn't know
I
But,
this.
mean,
Honestly,
no,
this
no,
is
no,
the
no, 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 no,
first
no.
time.
Nigeria,
So
they
so
don't
when-
be
so
caring about Black Americans like you guys think.
okay,
Like
and
they
that's
have
and that's fine. But I'm saying when you hear the word African American, what do you think that is? Do you think that's some lost Africans in America, or
Bro,
what do
you
you
do
think that
realize
means?
when I'm filling any freaking form, it says Black or African American. They're not
That's
two
because you,
different
no,
groups. You
dude.
do realize that, right?
There's a other box. There's a
No,
other box.
that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying me coming from Nigeria, I'm filling any freaking box. I fill out Black or African American. So how do
Because
you
you,
fucking expect me to understand what you're saying?
dude.
Like,
First
so I
off,
don't understand why
if
you
you,
think we're
bro,
actually
Yeah, yeah.
gaslighting y'all
GK,
because we have
they
the
just they
information.
just asking questions.
We
That's all.
don't
They just
have
asking
that
questions.
information, bro. Like we're dead ass, and we're not trying to gaslight you. Like people don't actually know that. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
they want to know. We can explain it to them. It's not a problem.
all right, guys. Sorry to mute. So now, more people are joining. If you want to speak, you're in the speaker section. Just put your hand up so that we can move the mic quickly. I would like for those who are part of the FBA to please share the link to others, because I believe that all of us are opinionated, and it will not be wise for us not to hear as many opinions as possible. Also, please share the link to other Africans as well. Um, it is important that we really get to understand how, how the foundational Black man or Black woman really feels, what really goes on in their mind, and why they. If you want to speak, put your hand up. So I want to ask, one of the sorry. One
I'm
of the
sorry, is it
things.
my network? Can anybody hear X?
Can you hear me?
You're cutting
Okay,
in and out.
okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. So one of the things I've noticed is that there seems to be this rift between Africans and Black Americans. Black Americans saying, "Oh, you can't be part of us. We don't want to have anything to do with you." And then Africans saying, "A lot of you all don't know where you are from. You don't know your heritage. You know, you just went to another man's land. You were born there, and then that's it." All right. So I want to ask you again, and please, I need a very clear and precise answer to this question. You said that whether you are from Baltimore, whether you're from Cincinnati, whether you're from Illinois, Washington, all Black Americans are ethnically the same. So the question now I want to ask, and I need clarity on this, is what is the Black American culture? All right. If you guys are ethnically the same, you're from the same ethnicity, what is your ethnicity about? If someone should ask me what my ethnicity is, I will be able to explain, okay, I am from the Igbo tribe. This is our way of life. This is our unique language. This is our unique food. This is why we do what we do. These are our cultural norms and values. I'll be able to explain. If you pose the same question to someone who is Yoruba, the person will tell you, okay, this is how Yorubas are. We are descendants of Oduduwa. This is our culture, norms, and values. These are the things that we believe in. The same thing a Hausa person will tell you. So if you say, according to you, that all Black people living in America, FBAs or Black Americans, are ethnically the same, what is your ethnicity about? What is your culture about? What does your culture entail? All right, that is what I need you to answer for me. Thank you.
Did you want us to respond to that?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I would respond by saying this. First of all, I know one of the things that's kind of different from America and Africa is we classify ourselves differently. So I know that in Africa, one of the ways that you guys, classify yourselves ethnically is by your culture, the way you sing and dance and your food and, things like that. What I would tell you is that in America, it's a little different. I would say that those type of cultural norms it's not emphasized as much like it is in Africa. So what makes us an ethnicity is our lineage, the fact that we've been here for several hundred years, we've mixed with each other, we're one gene pool, we've had a shared experience of slavery in the United States. That's what makes us an ethnic group. So I could get into our culture or whatever, I could do that, but it's not really emphasized here in America. It's not as important.
Okay, no problem. So essentially what you said is all of you are from the same gene pool, right?
Correct. One,
Okay.
one people.
Oh, one people, all right. Now, would you agree with me that historically black slaves were in America before America became a country? Would you agree with me?
Yeah, we built the country, yes.
Okay. Now, would you also agree with me that these black slaves were pulled from different parts of Africa? Would you agree with me?
I would agree with you.
Okay, so if black slaves were pulled from Senegal, from Ghana, from Sierra Leone, from Burkina Faso, from Nigeria, from South Africa, from the Congo, how is the gene pool the same, knowing fully well that these individual African countries of ancestry have different cultures, different norms, and different way of life? How is the gene pool the same according to you?
Right. So I can explain that. So again, we're not if culture it's not emphasized as far as identity goes. Again, it's different. So I would say the same way that in Nigeria, going back, you didn't have a Yoruba ethnic group. you had different groups of people that were in a similar location. You had Ijebu, you had Oyo, you had Egba. And, through the Yoruba colonial wars and things that happened in Nigeria, they coalesced and they became one group. It's the same thing in the United States. That's usually how ethnic groups are formed. The same thing happened with the Igbo people. You guys were different groups before and you came together and became one group. So, yeah, we have ancestry from Senegal and Ghana and Nigeria and Sierra Leone or whatever. But again, that's centuries ago. So today, we're one people, we're one group. And again, even if we did have slightly different DNA, person to person, or slightly different lineage, that's not important because again, we classify ourselves differently. We're one group now, and that's what's important.
All right. Fair enough. Ilian, please go on. Ilian, are you there?
Yeah, sorry.
Is Ilian speaking, please?
Yeah, sorry. I'm in a kind of noisy place. I'm going
I'm
to
sorry.
host.
Can anybody hear him?
Can you hear me? Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, I can hear him. He's talking.
I'm sorry. I can't hear Ilian. Ilian, please, can you drop and come back? I can't hear you. Okay, while Ilian is trying to get his mic and network fixed, Will, please go on.
Okay, thank you very much. So I have a question that I want to direct to the African
Wait, is
Americans
Will
here.
speaking?
I can hear
No,
him.
he's not.
I am
Hey,
speaking.
Jesus Christ. I cannot hear Will. What's going on?
If
He's
he
not.
drops down and comes back, you can hear him.
Okay, Will, please drop and come back. Ilian, don't drop. Ilian, don't come back. Ilian, speak me, I hear you. I can't hear Will at all.
Yeah. Can I talk now?
Yes,
Yes,
alien.
Ilian, go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know how to sugarcoat things. I don't know how to make people feel happy with what I have to say. If you are not happy with it, you are failed to do what you want to do. Firstly, in science, in molecular biology, for those who are molecular biologists here, there is something we call phylogenetic studies. And in phylogenetic studies, what we do is that we pull sets of data and then try and see the regions where, because in every genetic codon, there is a region that does not change as how will I call it, as evolution happens. So it's possible to trace where you are from. And newsflash, studies have been shown, high impact factor journals. High impact factor journals, I can, if you want me to do that, I'll show you, which shows that
Among
quite quite a lot of African Americans originate from Africa. This is what studies are saying. Also, the same studies have shown us that, you know what, these people were used as slaves, lumped as in sardines, like sardines in ships. Some lost their lives Atlantic Ocean, and then, some were able to make it to America. While in America, a lot, quite some of them, consummated with the whites, and so that's why you have a lot of mixed blood over there. It will be in how, like, disingenuous to say after your forefathers went through the pain, literally sat down around fire singing kumbaya, kumbaya, oh my lord, kumbaya, kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. A lot of them were placed in zoos and were used as spectacles to now rise up and say, you know what? That origin that made me who I am no longer that origin. I am now somebody else. It will be shameful. I was in Ghana and I went to one of the museums, the slave museums, and I saw the caliber of chains those people used. The high grade, bro, if they tie your head with that thing, you no go move one side. Put in several inhumane conditions. And after that, we now say the labors of those people who fought for our freedom should now be thrown anyhow. Africa is now suffering from a lot of things those our the oppressors then stole from us, stole our artifacts, stole our people, stole our mineral resources, and then now some people, because they have gotten the rights, they are now free, they are now part of a society you claim to build. You now leave your origin behind and forget your origin. You know what is sad? That even people who migrated recently from Africa still carry that kind of mentality. You see a Nigerian that recently went to the UK, to the US, now saying, man, I don't need this ticket, I don't need this passport again, I'm gonna tear it up. That's a fucked up country, blah, 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 blah. And they are now assuming an origin that they were not from. Bros, the only native to America are the Indians, the American Indians. All of you are migrants. You are Africans. Come and embrace your culture. Come and learn your culture that has preserved a lot of us. That is preserving us from the wave of all manner of LGBTQ memorandums and propagandas. Come and learn how your people were feeding. Come and eat eba, come and eat amala, come and eat fufu. Come and dress like your people. Come and walk the path your fathers walked. Do not lose yourself to a foreign country. Do not embrace your origins. You have the rich, very rich cultural society there. Be proud of who you are. And please don't allow westernization. I keep on saying this. China were able to be modernized, but they did not lose themselves through westernization. They still preserve some of their traditional medicine, some of their traditional practices. A lot of other countries still do the same thing. Why are we Africans like this? As I'm speaking to you, tears are in my eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Because we should not be people. We should not make the mistake to throw the labors of our heroes past. The Kunta Kintes, if those names were real, and the so on and so forth. We should not. I am angry because I am a Benin man who saw my Oba, the Oba of Benin, one of the greatest Obas, being dehumanized by this one. After no Africans were just under Augie or Yansh there. I use the mic. Thank you.
You Addo, Ellen, you Addo.
Uh,
He said he's Benin. He said it.
Benin, yeah.
Um.
I was
Okay.
that. I don't know if that was the country or the.
Okay. Alien, right? I have a question, right? For Alien, right? I'm just trying to like understand what you're saying and relate it to what they're saying. So, right, let me use Yoruba people as an example, right? The history has it that okay, everybody was supposed to be from every Yoruba person was from Ife or whatever, blah blah blah, and then Oduduwa's sons went, and some people went with them, and then they went to go and establish their own it's not tradition, their own ethnic group, right? That's why we have Oyo, all these other like small like Yoruba tribes, right? Tall. Okay, I feel like the people that went with the seven sons of Oduduwa to like start somewhere else, I feel like if they say, okay, I'm not from Ife, I'm from, let's use Oyo as an example. I'm from Oyo. Why? Because I helped whoever the first king was build up this city to like build up this tradition, blah, 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 blah. I don't think it's going to be a problem to say, Tor, for this reason, I identify as somebody that is from Oyo and I am not from Ife. I feel like what they're saying is okay, since when they wanted to like build up this country or whatever it is, it is this is the first time I'm hearing that before the slave trade, America was not an established country, right? So if they're saying okay, to establish this country, they had to like use us or whatever. So therefore, for this reason, I am from this country. I don't think I see it as an issue because in the end, it's still their blood, sweat, and whatever, right? If I'm wrong, please correct me because this is what I'm deducing from this conversation. So, like, if I'm wrong, someone please correct me and enlighten me.
You didn't do it willingly. You did it as a slave. That's my issue with that. If you did it willingly, then fine. But bro, you're forgetting the circumstances you did it and you were forced to do it.
That's
Oh,
not
Okay, okay.
there's that
So, so,
factor.
so,
There's
so the
that
thing is,
factor
because
as
we're
well.
being
you could talk about
one second.
outside of slavery when we were
One
free. We
second,
did things.
GK. So
Yeah,
we're
so
being hit with a lot of points. I think Alien brought up phylogenetics, which we could go into if he wants to. Then he brought up us being westernized and things like that, not letting go of Africa. So I mean, we can respond to this, but it's a lot of points coming at us.
he gone anyway, bro. He went down.
I wanted to respond, but I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we're as Western as it gets. We are the West. Um, the Europeans that come to the United States, they assimilate into our traditions, what we do. We're Americans, and nobody's denying African heritage or whatever. But the reality is, we're a mixture of African, European, and Native American, and that's just a fact. It's the reality, and there's nothing we can do to change that. So we have
And,
pride in being American. There's
and,
nothing, no issue with Africa. We can visit or whatever. We can do stuff over there. You know, you guys come over here, but I mean, we're American. We're Western.
and if you know anything about the inventions we made, most of our inventions that you use today in modern society throughout the globe, most of those inventions came by free people. So no, all of it wasn't under slavery. These are patent inventions. You can look it up.
But it's funny because I mean, people may say, "Oh, well, you guys, you're not really American, right?" But they don't say that to the Irish people in the United States. They don't say that to the Italians. They don't say that to the Germans. They don't say that to the Dutch people. It's only with us. They don't say that to the Spanish people that come over here. We've
Because
been over here.
don't you think they don't tell them that because they are white? No,
No,
no, no, no.
but
They're
Right,
new
Rex,
right,
arrivals.
right.
We've
But
been here longer than them. You
yeah,
don't
but
know.
Rex,
First off, no,
my
no, no,
thing
no.
is,
Let me speak to the white bit because first off, you don't understand the whole concept of whiteness and blackness. First off, people automatically when immigrants came here, they weren't considered automatically white. Prime example: the Irish and Italians. At a point in time, they were used as overseers, and they came over here due to famine and just low levels of poverty or whatever in Eastern Europe and all right. So they were considered low level tier because they lived around blacks. Even some of the Jews, they took on lower standard jobs of being like working on the docks and working in buildings as like custodians and stuff like that, right? So they later on got assimilated into whiteness. They weren't considered white. They were actually at a point in time considered black. They were considered to be black. So this whole white thing, people come and assimilate into whiteness. You just don't become white because your skin complexion. That's not how it works when you come to America.
and I'd have to say it's highly disrespectful to say that our people who put work into this nation proudly centuries ago. For the last 500 years, we've been here. An Irish person that comes over here 50 years ago, now they can be American, but somehow we're supposed to look at ourselves as being outsiders. That's pretty disrespectful.
No, Timothy. So my point, right, is that you guys are definitely Americans. No one's telling you, like, at the end of the day, you can feel however you feel. I would never take that away from anybody. But where my issue is when you guys start saying, "Well, I'm not African, I'm black," or we're two different things, because you still calling those people Irish. Yeah, they're white Americans, but you just call them Irish because they still identify as Irish. That's the difference. You guys don't identify as Africans. You only want to be addressed as black Americans. That's what I'm asking.
I think that's a social and a political term. I think that if a person acknowledges that they're a different ethnicity and they're not, somebody that's on the continent of Africa right now, we're just saying we're a different ethnic group. There's nothing wrong with that. Are we being forced to be identified as Africans?
What about, like, I guess diaspora, and you're a Nigerian, right? So when Nigerians immigrate to the UK or America or Canada or whatever, right? That Nigerian culture, whatever you was raised in from whatever tribe you are, that doesn't leave you. It's not the same nuances for Black Americans. Nothing about our culture or how we was raised, the cultural norms, or nothing that you do or you could consider, even like this whole fiasco about it was some tweets about how we wash our hair in the sink or some shit. Like, okay, we wash our hair in the sink, but that doesn't, if that's unnormal to Africans, so that just proves like how different we are. And I'm pretty sure y'all understand that, but y'all just continue to like just gaslight and like be condescending and like impose on us. But then again, some Black Americans, we imposed on you as well, right? So yeah.
All right. Let's move the mic. Will, after Will, then Tony will speak.
Rexford, can you hear me now?
Yeah, Wagwan, I can hear you.
All right, good. So, I've been listening to everything that's been going on, and it's quite interesting. And not to take away anything from the African Americans, right? You guys have the right to, claim whatever ethnic group or country you want to claim, no problem. And I feel like, in the real sense of things, history that has actually
Is it just me, or
No,
can
no,
you
he
hear?
cut out for me too. I don't know what happened.
Okay, I think he probably has a call. Will, are you
pattern
there?
make you feel like a traitor is
You gonna have to repeat yourself. We missed everything.
okay. So, we're made to believe that all blacks originated. So, these two particular guys were like claiming that not all blacks originated from Africa, that there were blacks existing in the US before the slave trade and before things actually happened the way they did eventually. And I actually don't agree with this because I feel like if we decide to check native Europe, native Asia, and Africa itself, the races have actually been obvious. And this is just my belief. I could be wrong, anyways, but I feel like all blacks actually originated from Africa. But now it's a different thing if you're now saying you're American and you're not African. In this modern day and time, it is acceptable. You have every right to do all of that. You understand? But I'm worried because is it like a thing for most Black Americans to feel like, okay, they are blacks, but they don't originate from Africa? Is it like a common thing in the US?
Can I ask you this, right? So the Indians, right? You know about the east southeast Indians, right, or whatever, right? Asians, you know them, right?
Yeah.
So their history, they have their origins go back to Africa too, right? That they were called originally the Dravidians. So weren't they African, but we are.
Okay. All right. I get the concept of what you're trying to say. So let me now like put this in better context because these guys were basically actual blacks with the black DNA, according to the pictures that I actually saw and the way they were speaking and all of that. You understand? They were Americans, but like I was just trying to like reason with one of them, and he was just trying to say he has relatives that are older than Nigeria as a country. I was actually pissed off. But then again, I told him, I said, Nigeria has actually been existing before the colonization, the naming, and all of that. You understand? Because if you look at our history, it goes way, way back. You understand? But I just want to believe that all Africans, all blacks actually originated from Africa. You understand? That is just an origin story. Now, ethnicity is actually a different thing. You understand? If a black American actually comes to me and is like, I'm not African, truthfully, he's not African. If you go to the Netherlands, they've got blacks there. If you go to the UK, they've got blacks there. You understand? Genuinely, if you check certain things, they are not Africans. It's just their history and their, background story that, connects them to Africa, which would make them seem like, okay, fine, they're from this certain place. And I have an issue with most Nigerians. Well, not necessarily Nigerians alone, but like Africans in general. We feel like we can like, call you guys out for not wanting to identify with Africa. You get in this case, you have every right to. You understand, but then again, the one thing that triggers that animosity is the fact that we're always made to look like the underdogs, and how would I even put this? We're not like intellectually up to the standard with you guys. You understand? Which for me, I find discriminating. You get? I'm not saying you guys actually do it, but like it's kind of like a thing now. Because when the continent Africa is mentioned, we're looked at in a different light. Like, okay, we're just being a third world country, we're not really exposed to civilization and all that. You understand? But I don't know. Because if this is like a thing in the US, then I feel like it's a problem. But it's all good. I just had to get that out. Thank
I
you.
mean, I don't really think anybody's not from my vantage point. I don't think anybody's disrespecting you and saying that you're a third world nation or anything. I mean, we've actually had black Americans in Nigeria going back a long time. Andrew Young has had relationships with Nigeria for decades or whatever. So I don't think we're doing that. But to the point of us not identifying as Africans, I mean, in the real way, right? Socially, politically, I mean, I don't have African nationality. I can't really do anything in Africa. I'm quite literally American. I mean, President. Yeah, can I just say, President Buhari never offered anybody citizenship. So, we're politically not African. He did.
Well, like I said, politically, socially, you guys are not Africans. You get, and I'm not actually mad at that, and I'm not even trying to stress on that. You understand? But I just stated out my concerns, and this came as a result of the discussion I had with these guys. They were two black Americans, and they took the whole thing personally. You understand? Now we got to a stage where I was just trying to explain to them that okay, this and this and this has been going on in history. They disregarded it. This dude was like, he has traced his origin back, and there is no trace of his family coming from Africa whatsoever. This is a completely black man. So it's all good.
Timothy and JK, right? I have a question. Do I understand where you guys are coming from 100%? Do I agree? I don't know. I was going to agree, but then Diaspora said something, and I feel like it made sense. He said that these people, the ancestors that came to like build America, they did not do this thing willingly. So do you think now that these ancestors, like if they had the chance to like say no, they would not have gone to America? So do you think now they would be proud that their descendants, right, are not claiming their culture and like they're just going with these people that literally like made them do these things against their will? If it was a thing of, okay, the example that I used with Nigeria and Yoruba culture now, they chose to go, they were not forced, they were not belittled, they were not treated like animals, right? I would understand. But then considering the fact that all of this was against their will, do you think they would want to lose their actual culture and heritage to this? Because okay, in the end, you help them to build this. I might as well just become one of them. Like, do you think they will be proud of this? Like that's my question.
Yeah, you want to take my shot? I think they would be pretty proud with where we at with it. Again, First of all, when it comes to the United States, whether it was done willingly, whether it was done under duress, it really doesn't matter. Our labor still built it, so we still have a right to it. And the thing that you have to keep in mind is that even when you want to talk about being a slave, right? That's hundreds of years ago. After slavery, our people put in a lot of work in this nation. We have historically black towns. We have black cities. We have places like Buffalo, New York, which is named after a black person. We have companies. We put a lot into this nation, and I've made a lot of strides to really establish a lot of things for us. So it would be completely insane for us to, like I said, turn away from that, in order to go to a place that we don't even have citizenship in. It just wouldn't make sense. Our people are proud Americans, and they've been there. And also, let me say this: when we say that we're Americans, I think we're more so focused on the land and the cities and what we establish over here more than the country. The country is one thing, but the actual land of the United States, the buildings that we established, yeah, we're Americans, and we always will.
Wait, Timothy, because you mentioned this whole citizenship thing a couple times, right? So, correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like even if like every African country, came together and said, you know what, for Black Americans, we're giving you guys citizenship if you want it. It sounds like you would take it. So I don't know why you're bringing that up as a point, like, hey, we're enough for citizenship. Like, would you be open to taking that if that was given?
Maybe, but that wouldn't negate what we have in the United States. It would still be American. Maybe.
All right, cool. Because that's a different conversation. Yeah.
All right. No problem. Does anyone else have anything to say before we move forward? I feel Tony, your hand was also before you wanted to say something before you dropped. Tony, are you there? Tony, Shubham.
Yeah. I'm here.
Yes, go ahead.
Can I speak?
Yeah, sure, go
Thank
ahead.
you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for the support on the space. Shout out to everybody on the space. I've had this conversation many times with the FBA. I believe the FBA means the Foundation of Black Americans. I've had conversations with them many times, but we've not been able to have closure. We've not been able to come to a logical conclusion because many of what they are presenting as facts are just, propaganda. Because somebody was saying that even before America started, their fathers were there. Which is how is that going to be? Because that's what they say. They're misconstruing the native Indians to be Africans. The native Indians, they are not Africans. They didn't come from Africa. There was the Beringia or the Beringe land bridge that connected Asia to North America, and that was where they came in. So they're not Africans. They don't have any ties. They don't have any ethnographic or anthropology or sociological relationship with Africa, with the people of Africa. We don't have any such ties. So this notion that the native Indians are Africans is preposterous. It's just it's propaganda.
That's not what I'm saying. Okay, Tony, could I ask you? What year was America established?
What do you say? I didn't get the question.
When was America established as a country? Because it wasn't a country. But what year was it established?
The year America started as a country.
Yes, because there was no America.
This is 1770.
Exactly. Exactly. So exactly. To speak to that. So before that came the Revolutionary War. Before 1776, there wasn't even a civil war yet, right? So the thing is, right, when you say we weren't here or whatever, no, that's a lie. We fought in every war that led up to the foundation of America, which the Revolutionary War, Black Americans fought in. There was no America. There was the 13 colonies, which meant the British had the 13 colonies. That was the Eastern Seaboard. And Black Americans have fought on both sides of the British and the Union. And we had throughout the British. And some free people that fought on the side of the British or the Union, they were considered free and they went to different places. That's another thing to understand. We have our own diaspora. So a lot of people left from here and went to other countries up north, to the Caribbean, to Latin America, all kinds of places, to Europe, the UK. All this happened. So you can't come up and try to tell us our history.
No, I can't come up. I'm just trying to say, I'm not against everything you said. I kind of agree. Black people fought in, the war against the British for the independence of America. Yes, but how did they get to America? That's now the contention. Your people are saying we are putting us black people on that continent before slavery, and that is what we are debunking as a lie. It was slavery that North America. North America is not home. It's not black people are not endemic to North America, and that's what we're saying. So North black people were taken to North America. They got their freedom. They fought for their freedom. They got their right to live there. Yeah, of course we are going to give people, but saying that black people had been living in that continent as their home before the Europeans came in to colonize that continent, that's a lie, and that's what we're debunking. So we are
keep making
the problem now being that many of these I'm not hearing somebody speaking. I don't know, maybe it's my network. I'm not hearing what the person is saying, but I'm getting kind of disturbance on that. Well, now what I think many of them are, afraid of is that some of them are thinking we Africans, we are saying they are Africans. Everybody have a right to identify with any group they want to identify with, but we cannot distort history. Historically, Africa is the home of the black man. Historically, the black folks in America, they were taken as slaves to North America. Not only North America, some were taken to South America as well. We have black folks in Brazil who today identify with the Yoruba ethnic group in Nigeria. There are different kinds of black folks in South America, in the Caribbean. You get it now. So it's not only North America that got, that transatlantic slave trade, this thing. But then, what
if I told you every black person in America wasn't a slave? What if I told you that? Would you believe that?
Of course, every black American wasn't a slave. There are immigrants. There are black people who, later migrated to North America. Of course. Black people who later, but at the beginning, every one of them entered that.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's why I didn't know what I was talking about. Every black person in America wasn't a slave. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about founding fathers and foundations built
To the civil war in America, because almost every black person that was in the South was considered a slave. Nobody could be free. Or the American
free people inside. There was
only part of America could, black people have some, edge at freedom, and that was what culminated in the Civil War and all that. You get it? So before, what's his name now? What's his name? Lincoln. Before Lincoln, we cannot categorically say black people had, constitutional freedom. We cannot say that. It was after Lincoln that, the freedom of the black man was sealed in America. So, but what I always want to correct is that notion that the native Indians of America were from Africa. That is a lie. They're not from Africa. There are no ties between the native Indians of America and Africans. They are not from Africa. They never came from Africa. They came from Asia.
Thank you very much.
So Tony, you keep making this point, right? And if there's somebody saying, making those points, you probably want to talk to them. I can't. I don't think me and GK can really speak on what other people are saying. But what I can tell you is, without a shadow of a doubt, Black Americans have Native American ancestry, and we also have, you guys talk about culture. We have cultural elements from those Native American ancestors. So, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I'm not really making the points that you're talking about.
I have a question for you, Timothy, real quick. And QQ, I don't want to just answer, right? Because you talk about Black Americans fighting the Civil War, right? From my understanding, right, the Black Americans that fought in the Civil War, so they were granted freedom, right? Those that did not are still slaves. And, my main question to you is, because you keep saying we founded Black Americans, some blacks were enslaved in America, which that is correct, right? But like, are those your ancestors, or do you know them? Because it sounds like there was a few, not the majority, and it feels like you guys keep talking about the minority. Like, yeah, there were a few blacks that did this. There were a few blacks. Okay, so how does that how does that, what does that matter to the majority of blacks that are not even involved? It's like let's say, wait,
So you're Nigerian, right? No.
just give me 1 second, please, if you don't mind. 1 second, right? Say I was a black man, and I don't know, in the 1776 or whatever, and I was free, and I started a business, my family business or whatever. I was a successful black man. Does that mean every freaking black person 200 years later can tell you, oh yeah, we founded America? That's ridiculous, bro. That's one black man. Like, you're not even related to me. You're not my
Okay, then. No. So with that instance, we can say the culture of Ifa or Shun or Risha, that has nothing to do with you, because your people weren't founded fathers of that. So Afrobeat has nothing to do with you, bro. Afrobeats, the cultural attire, I choke it. None of that has anything to do with you. They're the same thing.
No, that's not true, because I can actually trace my actual parents to that lineage. That's what I'm saying. You can't do that. That's my point. If you're telling me now, like, oh yeah, my dad, or I know one of my ancestors fought in the war, then fine. I can't argue that with you. But
we have records of it. We do. Black Americans, we have records of our family fighting in the war.
That's what I'm saying. So is that what you're saying? That's what I'm asking. I don't know.
Well, I just told you, during the time of the Civil War, 10% of the Black population was free, plus people in maroon outfits, if you know what that is. So there were free Black people, and there were free Black people that fought in the war. I don't know what the issue is.
All right. Go ahead.
Now, I was just gonna say, well, first off, that was good, y'all. Interesting conversation. I just wanted to bring up for a fact that what people are referring to, I think it's necessary for this conversation that y'all are very specific in terms of exactly what people are referring to when they're referring to America, at least, because if we're even going to talk about, like, those who lived in, like, what was considered the United States at the time, that was only primarily the colonies. And even then, the colonies didn't actually have like the way that their system was set up. It wasn't actually universal. At least you had a federalized government, but a lot of those states within such had huge, largely distinct laws for itself. Some states actually allowed for, like, a few blacks to actually be able to somewhat vote, as a prime example, whereas the majority of them actually did not have that as well. There were some states that were actually extremely friendly to those who were already freed persons, whereas others obviously still allowed for, like, the existence of slavery at the same time. So I think it's and even then, plus, that wasn't even the entire what we call country of the United States of America for itself. The vast majority of it was still actually, like, not actually discovered per se. they were still recognized territories, but they didn't actually expand out to those very regions. So I think it's what for the sake of the conversation, at least, I just make sure you know exactly like what areas y'all are talking about specifically. Just like I said.
All right. It is interesting that we've had this conversation. I I feel like despite the lens that we've got, I still do not understand what the Black American culture is. I honestly do not. I I mean it's actually interesting that um somebody sent me a message. The person said that at the end of the day, Black Americans, just like others, are migrants. You guys have said that you don't believe you are migrants, you believe you are Americans because your forefathers helped build, the country and all of that. Now, the question I want to ask is, since your forefathers helped build the country, just like other races did, or just like other ethnic groups did, how come, or should I say, why your forefathers, despite the fact that they helped build the nation, why were they still subject to racism? Why were they still subject to segregation? Why did the civil rights movement happen? Why were the black people still why were they
What if
still
that's not something that was exclusive to just like Black Americans by itself? Like even during the time period when you actually had, let's say, for example, Chinese people, for example, many East Asians, at least they actually had very synonymous, even though they weren't the exact same. They had certain kind of racist laws that were very much exclusive to them. For example, at least such as like I think if you speak to, I'm not extensive on this kind of history, but if you speak to a few people that especially have like some kind of Chinese roots within America, at least insofar as like their ancestors may have came in like the late 1800s, especially early 1900s first, you'll actually find that a lot of them will speak about how like they may have had to force them. For example, they may have like exploited their very labor. For example, particularly when it came to like the building of various railways, at least. But it wasn't necessarily just black individuals that was actually directly applied to. At least you had some laws, and again, you have to be specific on what states you're talking about at the same time too, because some states, of course, have certain kinds of laws that, of course, are going that would have actually applied towards specific groups, whether it be in favor of them or whether they would have been against them. If anything, you also had certain kinds of groups in general that you 100% discriminate against any particular race of people that weren't white Protestants. So another example would be how there used to be many laws in certain states that would actually exclude Catholics out of certain things. They had certain laws that would also exclude not just black people, but also various Hispanic groups as well too. Despite the fact that, at least in terms of their own ancestral origins, in much of like of Texas today, if anything, or what we consider to be Texas today, a lot of them actually have what the Spanish people have ancestors that actually predate various Europeans at the same time. But at the same time, there was still laws that actually went against them. So it's kind of goes back to what I said before. Like you have to be specific on what area you're talking about. But just because people's ancestors had actually participated in the building of a nation, doesn't mean that they're going to automatically be excluded or whatever it is, or that they're going to be seen as equals among those who are the majority of that population. And I think every place around the entire world actually proves this, if anything else. So yeah.
Yes, so if I could respond to the question, I mean, the first thing you said was, I think you said that we think that we're not immigrants again. There's a words are definitions, right? Words are meaning. So the definition of an immigrant is a person that goes through a legal process to migrate to a nation. We didn't come from another country and go through a legal process to migrate to a nation. When we came to America, to the landmass, there was no United States, there was no country until we helped build it. So we come through a process where we immigrated to a nation, like somebody coming from Nigeria today. And the second thing is, you said if you help build the country, how were you still discriminated against? I mean, the same way that in Nigeria, there's certain ethnic groups that help build the nation, but they're still discriminated against. It's no different. It doesn't make us less a part of the nation, no more than those groups in Nigeria that are discriminated against us Nigerians, just like everybody else.
So, Timothy, can I ask you a follow-up question? So, would you agree with the statement I'm about to make? Right. Building a country is not something that's finite. Right? You don't just build a country once. Like a country is under constant development, right? So basically, I could be a child of an immigrant living in the United States, and over the years, I've been contributing to building up the country, right? So my question to you is: do I then now start identifying as a Black American? Because my parents were Africans that immigrated to America, but then over a few generations, I've been contributing to building up America. So I'm no longer African. It's biological. Is that what you're saying?
No, so two parts to that. The first thing is again what was the first question?
Like building a country, like this is not something that's
Right. Right. No, it's not. It's not really continuous like that. We built the foundation of the country. Anybody else that's coming over today is just adding on to it. The systems, the industries, every nook and cranny of this country, we help. We either built ourselves or had some contribution. And so no, yeah, a person that comes today can contribute and add on to it, but no, the foundation is built. And the second thing is our ethnic group is not. It's not based upon somebody just living in America. So if a Black person from another country moves to the United States, that doesn't make them a part of our ethnic group. No different from if I move to Nigeria and I live around Nupe. Well, I'm not gonna just become Nupe just because I'm in the country.
not you and your kids though. But you think a couple generations removed, your kids will be called Nigerian?
That's a nationality, not an ethnicity. So if somebody moves to America, yeah, eventually they be American. They got the nationality, but they're not gonna be brought into the fold of our ethnic group. We have very, very rigid and very strict rules and regulations about what makes you a Black American. So it's not something loose that people can just migrate into, assimilate into.
There's also a shared heritage aspect as well too when it comes down to like a person's ancestry, for example. So like that's another part of it as well. So like if a person, even if their parents, even if their grandparents, let's say come from Nigeria, and they were to come to America for itself, and they have kids, and they have kids for itself at least, it doesn't necessarily constitute them as being fully a part of what's called a Black American. At least they don't share the exact, they don't share nowhere near the same particular history as those who actually did, or at least those whose ancestors actually partook in that. So ethnicity in itself, at least, it is very much multifaceted, but there are multiple factors behind that. At least, and those who are currently, at least, particularly those who you typically stay in the South in America, but along with those who may have partaken in the migration to the North for itself, a lot of us still have those very roots. We have that shared history. We have even in many cases shared vernacular use of English. If anything, we have this very shared heritage for itself. There's a lot of aspects about what is considered Black culture that is just simply synonymous for us as well. So ethnicity isn't something that's like singular. It's very much multifaceted, if anything. And I think it's disingenuous, at least, to try to displace or factor those very aspects out of such in terms of
Right,
what considered to a person
right,
as a
Drew.
Black
Are
American.
are FBAs different from regular Black Americans, or are they the same thing?
I'm the wrong person to ask that one. I'm not too familiar with them when it comes to other claims.
We'll say no.
So they're not the same thing.
Those are
No,
foundational
no,
Black
they're the
Americans.
same. We're not different. I'm saying we're not different. We're the same ethnic group.
Those are what, foundational Black Americans, isn't that right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I'm like I don't think all Black Americans are foundational Black Americans, but I might be wrong. So that's why I was asking.
So when we say Black Americans, right? Again, we're not talking about we're not including a Jamaican that came here in the 70s or a Cape Verdean that came here in the 40s or a Yoruba person that came here in the 70s. No, we're an ethnic group. No, it's not everybody. Not every black, quote unquote, black person in America is a black American.
Yeah, plus like there's an aspect where like ethnogenesis, the term actually plays a very big role in that as well, right? In terms like the very or how ethnic groups actually like originate in themselves. I think that's like something that really needs to be taken into consideration.
All right. Can you guys hear me? All right. It's
I,
it's important that we've had this conversation at length. I mean, I will always say that there is more that, you know, unites us than there is that tears us apart. It's sad that this story.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Channel Raw TV Bay Bay.